What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. This is Blinkers Off. What's up, dude?
What is going on, man? Yeah, we got a busy show here. We're going to be drawing for the Fantasy League tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of sports going on in the background as well. So gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not really pumped about the Thursday night game. It's I'm not gonna lie. What is it, like Pittsburgh and the Giants or something? I don't know.
Correct. Yes, it's a great game so far.
Oh, I bet it is. I bet it is. You keep us posted on that. So yes, it's been a great week, right? It's been an interesting week. It seems like that's the case. Anytime we've been busy, it feels like in the last last year, it's been related to Bob Baffert, and lo and behold, the white rat looms again here, and. So we have some stuff to talk about with him. We'll get into. We have a whole segment. Obviously, Medina Spirit, just unbelievable news with the passing of him having I guess we'll find out exactly, but a heart attack in training or right after training at Santa Anita earlier this week, and then of course how that looks in the whole light of everything else, and it's just there's so much to talk about. I almost called you that day. I was like, dude, we kind of need to like hop on a show or something. But then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to let this simmer. I'm going to let this kind of digest, see what comes out from this. And then we could talk about it tonight.
I'm glad we didn't do a Monday show for sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it, giving our thoughts about it. I'll save it for the actual segment. But yeah, it's one of those things, right? It's something we seem like we have to deal with once every 2 months, couple months, 1 month.
Yeah. And by the way, Lincoln the Trojan King says, Mr. Halterman, we are still waiting your acceptance into the USC family. Stop ignoring our invitations. Of course, the same day the news of the new coach came out, so I'm sure you were everywhere on that single day. Of course, Lincoln Riley going to USC. So yeah, what do you think of the new hire? Clemson offensive coordinator? I don't know what it was, but what do you think of the hire? And will you be joining the USC family?
Yeah, no, I will not be joining the USC family. Yeah, Brent Venables gets the job, former defensive coordinator at Oklahoma for 13 years, and then the defensive coordinator at Clemson. Won 2 national titles at Clemson. Of course, OU won the national title when he was a defensive coordinator there as well. A guy that turned down a lot of jobs over the last 15 years, I would say. And yeah, I think it's the perfect hire for Oklahoma. We're happy to have him home. I think he was the one that could rally the fan base. Very popular guy when he was there. I know all the former players are really happy about it. So I think it's good. He hired Jeff Levy, Ole Miss offensive coordinator, as our offensive coordinator now. And I thought that was an important hire. So yeah, all things seem to be good. And no offense to the Trojan King there, but I think we got a little bit better coach than we had. So I'm pretty happy with it.
By the way, I said the Giants. It's the Vikings, which is even worse, I think. Right. So the Vikings in Pittsburgh. Anyways, yeah, that's we'll get in. Steve, you have a question there? We'll get into that. We'll get the whole Medina thing coming up. In racing last weekend, we had a pretty good weekend of racing as well. Of course, we did well with the American Revolution pick to win the Cigar Mile. That horse it was a nice weekend for Todd Pletcher. Of course, he also won the Remsen Stakes with Mo Donegal. Talk about some of these horses. Let's talk about American Revolution, because this is a horse that obviously is a 3-year-old, probably has a big future ahead of him, seemingly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the top two finishers of that race do American Revolution, a very solid performance. I do think he is even better going a little bit longer. So I think that'll kind of be the handicap horse for Pletcher, along with obviously Life is Good going into 2022. And you look at Following Sea. I mean, this horse laid it on the line, right? He ran really, really well. And it kind of what we speculated or talked about, or I wrote about in the guide, talked with Magic about in the videos. Can he get a mile? Yes. Is it his best distance? No. And I think it showed, right? He was right there. And then the last, furlong, maybe half furlong, he couldn't quite hold off the stablemate. But two really nice Pletcher horses. I was happy to see American Revolution get that win. He's had a really, really nice year, and he deserved to win against open company like that.
Yeah, he kind of just grinded his way. Like you said, I think it was a little bit of combination of him being a pretty good horse, grinding his way, to win that thing. And also, like you said, I think Following Sea just wasn't quite sharp enough at that distance. But yeah, I mean, that's a really good horse, Following Sea. I do think that horse kind of, obviously was hyped up with Bob Baffert, and then kind of, we didn't know for sure what he was once he got to Todd Pletcher. But a horse, I mean, I think he's he's been in some tough spots. So both those horses seemingly should have pretty good 2022s. Mo Donegal winning the Remsen Stakes over Zandon. What did you think of that? I mean, I don't know. I it's hard for me to like the Remsen winner. To me is just an afterthought. Like Pletcher won. I just feel like you are a sucker if you're drafting Mo Donegal in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think those two horses are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Let's put it that way. They look pretty slow, both the male and female race there for 2-year-olds going that distance. It was pretty slow. I thought Mo Donegal should have been disqualified. But I am biased because I had the second place horse on top. But no, I didn't think even the second place horse there, Zandon, I didn't think he was that great. If he was, you'd think he would have won that race still. But no, I didn't think much of it. And I'm with you. I don't think those are world-class horses as we head into 2022. I'm not taking much out of those two races.
I was burned badly from the Donegal Bay or something. So yeah. any horse that's got Donegal in the name, 2-year-old and 3, I'm not touching. So no thanks. Yeah, let's get into it. We have a big show, so let's just not waste any time here. We are going to stay put. We are going to, Halterman, I'd like to hear you finally bash Bob Baffert here, because a lot of people say on Twitter that we haven't for the last. I'm just kidding. One guy did, but so we're going to talk we're going to talk a lot about Bob Baffert. What happened with Medina Spirit? What's next? Like just everything around the Bob Baffert saga, and it is a saga in every sense of the word. We're also going to get some rapid fire picks. We have 2 races to talk about: the Mr. Prospector at Gulfstream Park, and of course the Los Alamitos Futurity. Lo and behold, who has a horse in there? 2 horses actually, Bob Baffert. And then the best time of the year. It is the greatest time of the year. We have the 2022 Racing News Triple Crown Fantasy League draft order being drawn tonight live on air. So if you're tuning in, if you are a part of this, you need to be tuning in to see what you're going to pick. Your defending champion will be present for this, and we'll be helping make some picks here. So I'm excited for this. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go. All right. Should we play the what was the one we had? Oh yeah.
I told Magic you're probably going to have to change that this year.
That, or you have it and you just have like some song, a different song on there, a very deep and depressing song, or like the what was that one song from years ago? The "Fuck You" that song. Let's all right, 3, 2, 1. Bob Baffert, Hall of Famer Bob Baffert, in the news yet again, I should say. Seems like it's all we've seen this year. Bob Baffert made news again this week with Medina Spirit. Of course, technically your Kentucky Derby winner as we stand today. A horse that had a hell of a year for Bob Baffert. suddenly passing away on track at Santa Anita Park, pretty much right at the end of a workout. Just awful news, and it complete. I mean, any Baffert horse, it makes it worse. But when it's the exact same horse that everyone that isn't involved in racing day in and day out knows about, Medina Spirit being, of course, the Kentucky Derby and how the horse tests positive, and anyone knew about this horse. So now you touch back on that, and everyone's like, "Oh, the same horse died now," and so it's just an unbelievable turn of events to what has been a sad story all along. Halterman, first thoughts when you kind of heard this news of we have a good friend of ours in the business. Pretty much, I think we were probably one of the first people to know. I mean, it was pretty inside at that point, and just told us, "Hey, I heard that Medina Spirit died on track." And we're like, "Shit!" So, what was your thoughts when you heard that from our contact there?
Well, first of all, I was on a flight home from Chicago into the big metropolitan airport of Joplin, and believe it or not, there's no internet on the flight, so I was out without internet for about an hour and 30 minutes. Of course, right when the news breaks, and so you turn on your phone when you land, and I had the 27 messages, and so I thought, oh, this isn't good. That's never good. Something bad's happened. And, I think the bottom line is I think in racing, no matter if it's Bob Baffert or anybody, if I get a text and say popular horse X has died, if you've been in the game long enough and you're still surprised to hear news like that, that's on you, right? We get that kind of news all the time, whether it's Bob Baffert or not. And, it seems to me this was a situation that I've got that text before from other trainers, with other trainers with other horses. But the problem is there is no, benefit of the doubt for a guy that has that long track history. And no matter how you slice it, there's evidence out there that this happens to Baffert a lot. And like you said, it's the same horse that still, we don't know if he won the Derby or not yet. So far, yes, I guess he still is a Derby winner. But it just, you knew it was just going to catch on like wildfire. And it's just more than anything, it's just a tragic end for a horse that just didn't deserve any of this. And I think your tweet was perfect. He deserves so much better than this. Whether you love or hate Baffert, you have to have respect for that horse. He showed up every time. He brought it every time. He always tried. He wasn't an overly talented horse, but man, he could just go up and run against anybody and be competitive. And that was, the more it's sink in, it's like, man, this horse didn't deserve it. He deserved something like what's happened with Life is Good, is get to a new trainer and prove just how good he is, like Life is Good has. That's what Medina Spirit deserved too. He didn't get that opportunity, and that's the saddest thing of it all.
Yeah, I mean, I grew to where I really like this horse. At first you kind of get annoyed with him, not him, but because it's Baffert, and you kind of like, you don't really like the horse, and then like kind of after the Derby, and then he shows up. The Preakness was like, but then he shows up in the Shared Belief. You're like, yeah, whatever. And then he's like, the Awesome again, he's awesome. And then it's like, damn. And then he runs really well in the Classic, and you're just like, man, this horse is just so gutty, all things considered. And yeah, so I really grew to like him, and it wasn't just, like you said, it was just, he didn't deserve, he deserved so much more than, because I mean, you can speculate all you want, and obviously not gonna. I think we kind of all guessed of probably what happened, but it's just when a horse is maybe not extremely talented, but is running really, really good all the time and trying really, really hard, that obviously he had a lot of those guts that you want, that ability to kind of just keep going. And when you kind of mix that in with Baffert's, training regimen, and then also Baffert's whatever, just a recipe for disaster. And unfortunately it happened. And it's just, it sucks. The horse made over $3.5 million in earnings, which is unbelievable, considering the horse was kind of an afterthought, really, in the sham, even the Robert B. Lewis. So yeah, it's awful. It really is. And I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what this will do. Do you think it matters? I mean, I guess that's the most blunt way to ask it. Do you think it really matters? Like, is it in the big picture? Is this going to, I mean, one, is the fact that he died going to have any type of implications on what happens with the Derby? And two, is it going to spur any sort of, which I know the answer to, any sort of change or any sort of movement towards banning Baffert more, or did it solidify the ban on Baffert like currently through the Kentucky Derby and all those things? Like, what kind of ramifications, I guess, do you think is about to happen, if any?
No on the Derby and no on the changes. I don't think either one of those things will happen. I've thought about this a lot, and no matter what we do, it seems like there's always people saying we did it wrong or you're not doing enough. And the bottom line is, I was telling some people on there and they didn't like it, but it's the truth. It's like, end of the day, there's nothing we can do. I said that to one guy on Twitter. He's like, you need to get with your fans and that you have an audience. I said, dude, we have been calling this guy every name in the book for a year and a half. It doesn't do any good. I mean, I don't know what we can really sit here and say that we haven't said already. You have guys on Twitter saying, never pick his horses to win again. Yeah. What is that going to do? That is meaningless. It's like, you're supporting him if you pick him. No, I mean, that you have to, if they're allowing him to run, he's in the race. What do you want me to do? Pick a horse I don't think is going to win? I mean, you're going to be more upset about that over time. So there isn't a whole, we're just handcuffed. There really is. There's two ways. Listen, and not to get into the other side of it, the ones that support him and think he's done nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those guys, they're kind of fans of the site too. I got an email from a guy who's been a fan of the site for a lot of years, and he was really pissed at Magic Mike, and they talked about it for like a minute, like they didn't even say anything. And he was like, I can't believe they're bashing Baffert. They're out there. So really what happens is Bob Baffert brings out the worst in the sport right now, because we all get to fighting. We all get to taking sides. And like I said, I tweeted out once, there'll be an excuse. Some people will buy it. Some people won't. We'll all argue. We'll all get mad at each other. Nothing will change. It'll happen again in a month, and we'll go through the same process. Here's the way to break the process, in my opinion. I really believe there's only one true way if you want to get Baffert out of the game or make Baffert a lesser part of the game. Because the race, like the tracks, are not going to be able to do it, okay? The Churchill Downs has tried. They said, hey, you're not coming in with anybody in the Kentucky Derby. And all of us kind of assumed, well, he won't get a lot of 2-year-olds. Well, his 2-year-old crop just as strong as ever, right? There's one way to get him out. All you people that are fighting and hate mailing me or hate mailing each other or bitching at each other on Twitter, stop. Email, all of his owners. Email them. Say, get your horses away from him. If they get 10,000 emails, maybe they will take him away from him. Turn on them. I mean, that's the best way to do it, right? That's him not getting the horses, his owners going elsewhere is the only way you're really going to hurt this guy at this point. And you could say, well, I'm not going to bet the races anymore. Okay, that might hurt him. That hurts every other person in the industry, no matter where they're at, whether it be other players that play the game, trainers that are clean, jockeys, tracks, websites like ours. I'll throw that in there too. You don't want to bet? That's fine. You're just going to hurt everybody, including him. The best way to do it, email the like WinStar and say, hey, you fucks, stop sending them horses. If you feel that strongly, get off Twitter and contact these people and tell them they're the only ones that can really change this. That's where I'm at with it.
That's why I thought it was such an amazing move to like put a horse like Life is Good. I thought it was so odd that just how a few horses, like, why is it? But the same ownership is putting new horses with him. You know what I mean? So it was very strange that they started that movement somewhat, And the problem is with these owners, the owners like Winstars, Baffert, whether you like him or not, he can get a horse, assuming they survive, can get a horse to a very high stud fee very quick. And it can get you that return on investment very, very fast for these high price, 500, whatever, $400,000 plus 2-year-olds. The return on investment is so fast with these horses because then they go and have a good 3-year-old or 2 and 3-year-old year, whatever. Then they go to stud and they have a, $30K stud fee and they just boom, 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 and it just keeps going and going and going. It's a very simple, really, if you look at it that way, it's a very simple business model, right? I mean, because he pumps the shit out of him, man. Like and that's the sad reality. So how do you get these owners, because obviously it's all about money, to say, well, you know what, the right thing would be not to go to him, but because these owners know what he's doing. I mean, come on, like it's so clear. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if that's, but I agree. That's, if you're going to do something, that's what you do, because like not betting, the whole theory of like, if you don't support him, if he's got horses in the race, I'm not betting the race. Like, well, that's not going to do anything. I mean, that's just like you said, it's hurting everybody. And it doesn't really, he's still going to run horses. You know what I mean? Like, he's still going to have horses in the race. So, what about the fact, what if the bigger picture could be, what if we just all the tracks said enough? What good is what does it matter to a track if Bob Baffert has a horse?
I mean, what if there's a tooth fairy? What if there's a Santa Claus? What if there's this? What if there's that? I mean, that's
there is a Santa Claus, to be clear.
I mean, name something outlandish. What if, right? I mean, it's not going to happen. And I'll give a ton of credit to Churchill Downs. I give a ton of credit to Naira for taking a stand. He already get through the Naira thing. I'm sure he'll get through the Churchill Downs thing as well. So, it is what it is there. But, I mean, I just think our system is so messed up. And not just for this isn't just for Baffert, right? Service in Navarro, okay? Everybody in the world knew what was going on. And it took the FBI to finally get them out of it, right? So this isn't just a Baffert problem. This is a horse racing problem, okay?
Yeah.
Forget about, Baffert is probably, no, I'm not going to say probably. Baffert is, without any question, not the biggest problem in horse racing. He just has the biggest, following and the biggest name recognition. But
in a sense, he's the face of horse racing, because he
correct.
is, because he was put on the limelight because of all the Triple Crowns, and everyone knows that guy.
And the big problem is, listen, this isn't going to be the last horse that breaks down under Bob Baffert, right? But that doesn't, they break down under all these trainers, but you don't ever hear about it. You're hearing about Bob's because and perhaps rightfully so, he put himself in this position, and not just Medina Spirit. He's had several drug, positives. So he's put himself in that position to be under the microscope. And it just happened. He works in a sport where, horses are going to break down. Horses are going to have the situations that happen. My dad called me and he goes, the thing about it is there's a chance I was just a freak accident. I said, there's more than a chance. It probably was. But when you are under that microscope, you can't have anything happen or they're always going to jump on you. So the trick is, how does he change that narrative? And it's gone too far. There's no narrative to change, because not only does he have the horse racing people not on his side for the most part anymore, it's a national story. And why is that? Because he got disqualified out of races like the Kentucky Oaks and the Kentucky Derby, and it made it a national story. And so when a guy like Baffert, who everybody knows and has won 2 Triple Crowns, gets that drug positive on the biggest stage, people in the national media go, ooh, people know who that is, and now we can make a story out of it.
It's a positive drug, infraction or whatever, and it's going to be something people are going to click. All right, listen, look, answer a few of these questions. Jared says, if necropsy, is that how you say it, comes back as something as a large heart, something natural, which is, by the way, is something I'm totally expecting happens.
Yep.
Natural toxicology comes back clear. All that stuff that they sent out, for testing. Will it change your mind any on what you think about it?
For me, honestly, no, because I think that's what it is anyway. I don't think this is a story about drugs or anything this time. I think the horse, it's something freak happened. So my mind, no, wouldn't change it because that's what I think it is anyway. Will that change the minds of these people that are upset? No, absolutely, it's not going to. They'll say, oh, they lied, or oh, this, or oh, that. And you know why they'll say that? Because you got them lying on record, lying for Bob Baffert before. Justify had a positive test in the San Antonio Derby, and we found out about it 3 years later. And you know what? That's not Bob Baffert's fault. I don't blame him for that. That's a horse racing problem. That's a California problem. So they have no trust for these people that are conducting the test and then what the test says and how it's reported. Nobody has any trust in California. So no, it will change nothing how that test comes back. But in my opinion, like you said, I fully expect it'll be clean, 100%.
Yeah, to me, I don't. You just kind of I guess you just kind of assume that. I think it'll be clean. I don't think and I'm not saying like maybe there's unknown. You know what I mean? Like how many times we've heard like, well, there's like 1,000 unknown substance we don't know, but things we test for, yes, who knows? But I do expect it, and that's the problem with where we're at. Like you're saying, is there's such a divide now on where you're at. So like if it comes back clean, everyone says, like you said, it's a cover up, or well, the horse, who knows what he wasn't tested for, or what they couldn't test. Who knows? Like the horse was pushed, and then on the other side, I told you he's clean. Like I mean, come on, it's a witch hunt. So it doesn't really matter what comes out because it's going to just keep dividing. It's just going to be divide. So yeah, I mean. And someone else asked, is he the 3-year-old? He's, I think from Lincoln, your friend Lincoln Riley says, is Medina the 3-year-old champion horse of the year? I mean, you'd like to give it to him from that standpoint, obviously. But no, he's not. I think it's essential quality still. But it probably, the other problem to that would be is, who's going to get credit for it? Well, Bob Baffert will still be the trainer of Medina Spirit, the Eclipse Award. So, yeah, no, I think it's still, unfortunately, I think it's not going to be him. It's essential quality. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Bob Baffert, obviously we had the Futurity coming up. We'll talk about that here in just a second on Rapid Fire. The Los Al Futurity, obviously a race that just like, he does with these 2-year-olds at Los Al every year. He just wins these races with these fillies and the males. So it's like usually the Los Al Futurity is this really big coming out party for one of his Baffert, one of the Baffert horses, but he's got a couple in there, and Messier is a really nice horse, but you don't even know what to do with these horses as we move towards the Kentucky Derby. It's a mess. Like these next few months, as we wait for the toxicology for this, while we wait for the debate on whether he's going to win, because right before this, it came out. That's the other thing we haven't even talked about that. And I don't want to talk forever about Bob Baffert, but that was the other thing. Right before this happened, like a day or two before, they come out with Baffert's lawyer comes out with like the results saying that it wasn't injected at the Derby. It was they have proof of this. They did outside testing or whatever, and they got proof that it wasn't injected. It was rubbed on like Baffert said all along, and all this bullshit. And so then that happened, and then boom, the horse dies, and it was just like. So it's just there's a ton of shit to unravel these next several months as we lead up to the Kentucky Derby, because like you've said many times, at one point these owners have to make a decision. I mean, if they want their horse to run and get points, they have to have a decision by March at least.
Yeah. I mean, that's just it, right? It's really that simple. And again, that's why I go back to the only really person that can make a difference or group of people that can make a difference are the owners. So again, I stress, stop bitching at each other on Twitter about this. Stop insulting each other on Twitter about this. If you have a problem, that's what you need to do. Contact the owners. And you know what? If you love him, contact the owners and give support. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's a waste of time. I'm so sick of the merry-go-round with this guy. Here's the one fact about Bob Baffert. Nothing good is coming from him right now in this game. Nothing. He wins a race. Everybody's trashing him, calling him a cheater. And then the other people are going, you don't know that. They get tested, and then it's a fight, right? He loses a race and he didn't bring the juice today. It always ends in a fight with this guy. And it's a dark cloud over the sport right now. And again, there's two solutions to it. He's got to, scale back or be out of the game, or he's got to change his narrative about himself. It's going to be awfully hard to do either one, in my opinion.
Kind of feels like the ship has already sailed in that department. Like it's you're either against or for Baffert at this point, and it's really large divide now. And I don't see it ever getting, because there was years where a lot of people were like, yeah, he's kind of shady, but you're like, yeah, the big picture, he obviously, you and I, everyone in the racing dude is really, frankly, the biggest Baffert fans. So it's not like we've always been Baffert haters. We just got sick of his shit. And we do this for a living, and we would prefer not to have this idiot ruin the game. So, and you have to think too, like, what do you think other trainers should start doing something about it? Like, if you're Todd Pletcher, say, for instance, and you've got a lot of the same connection, you share horse ownership, right? Like, some of the same owners have horses with you and Bob Baffert. Aren't you like, dude? I mean, like, you're gonna kill the. I mean, let's put a little bit on these other trainers, like especially the big guys. Can't they do something? Can't they make a statement and say, "I'm not gonna stand for this anymore. Like, I'm sick of this shit, Bob." I mean, it feels like the big trainers. There's a few trainers here and there that might, say something, chirp up about it, but overall, no one says anything.
That's the biggest mystery of all. And we know some trainers, not the big ones, but we know some, and they know what we know. They say the same things we do, and they never say anything. I don't know if it's just kind of an unwritten code of we stick together no matter what, that we don't know about, that maybe if we're in the business we would know about a little bit more. I really don't know. But I've thought that for a long time of just, why don't you say something? Why don't you speak up? And I think certain ones have at times, but I don't know. And I don't know if they're fearful. I don't know. I think trainers do live in fear a lot, because end of the day, they are counting on these guys to give them horses. And I think a lot of times they just kind of do whatever they can to please them, tell them what they want to hear, things like that. I mean, that's my best guess. It's a great question, Jared. I don't know the answer to it.
It's a mystery. Yeah, maybe there is some sort of, maybe it's like, hey, you say shit about me, I'll say shit about you. Like, we can just keep, it's like, it just kind of like
are they all dirty in a way?
Mm-hmm.
Do they all have skeletons in the closet? I don't choose to believe they all do, but do most of those big ones do? That's the funny thing about the Kentucky Derby. People, we got to get Baffert out of there. He cheated. And you look at the horses that finished behind him and who trained him, and it's like, I don't know about that. I don't.
Like, okay, well, if you put up
a question, so
if you put up this guy, well, okay, take him out. All right. Well, shit. Yeah. Okay. Now, yeah, exactly. It's like all the way back to, who was it that finished fifth? Who was that horse coming from way back?
Bezos.
Bezos. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Magic and I were talking about the Alamitos Futurity. We did the video. You can check it out on YouTube, previewing the race, and they go, okay, it's been a tough week for Baffert. Who could upset him and kind of make us, feel good? And I'm like, well, Doug O'Neill. Oh, does that make us feel good? Like, this guy's been suspended more times than freaking Josh Gordon, right? I mean, this guy, you never know who his horses are going to run under. When Hot Rod Charlie won the Louisiana Derby, O'Neill was suspended. He wasn't even the name in the program. So
he wasn't even there.
Kind of like, what you want to pick O'Neill and feel good about yourself? I mean, I got to pick. I think Mendez is the one trainer that's not Baffert or O'Neill in that race. It's like, and that gets back to what do you want me to do as a handicapper? Don't pick any of these guys that you think are drugging horses. who's left for me to pick?
Yeah, I know exactly. Literally 5 horses in the field, and two of those two trainers that have multiple horses, and they've had more infractions than I've had Tinder dates. So that's saying a lot. So I mean, it's just a lot. It's like you say, and that we'll get to that in a second with the fantasy league. It makes it impossible for our situations and for bettors and making these decisions, because it's like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? So, all right, that's a wrap. We're not going to talk about this today anymore. Bob Baffert, Medina Spirit. The biggest thing is Medina Spirit. Rest in peace, buddy.
Yep. Now that's it's a vicious cycle. And I really mean that. People are still watching. Try to contact somebody who might actually be able to do something, because I really thought media pressure would get us there, and it just hasn't. I've contacted people, and you can't get anywhere. So.
All right, let's get into some. Let's get off that, and we'll get back to that, I guess, because Bob Baffert, the Bob Baffert for charity is coming up. So we'll talk about that in a second. But all right, let's kick things off. Let's kick things off with we're gonna do the Mr. Prospector and the Charity. All right, 3, 2, 1. Time for Rapid Fire, presented by, let's do RD Sports. We haven't talked about RD Sports in a while. RD Sports is probably taking off right now, right? Because it's bowl season, and I know my boy below me here loves himself some bowl season. You're probably going to watch every single one of them, I'm guessing. Talk a little bit about what to expect on the site, racingdudes.com/sports, RD Sports. What's on the site? What people can look forward to for bowl season?
Yeah, man, we got, well, first of all, with the NCAA season over, other than the bowls, the NFL coverage expands. So we've got like 10 previews up right now for the NFL games. So we got a lot going on there, and that gets a little bit expanded. We'll have every bowl game. We'll have an article for it. We're excited about that as well. And like I said, NFL expanded coverage because of the lack of the NCAA games. And also free NHL picks every night on the site as well. So there's a lot going on over there on the sports site right now. And like I said, we'll do kind of the football thing all the way through bowl season, and then we'll get into college basketball, and then the NBA once the NFL kind of gets over with, or at least gets to the playoffs. So a lot going on. Do 2Bet Sports 2 days a week as well. Having a lot of fun with it.
Yep, go check it out. racingdudes.com/sports to get all your information for that. I can't wait. I mean, March Madness coming up, before you know it. So that'll be a blast as well to be covering that. I'm sure we'll do some fun stuff with that as well. So when horse racing is boring to you, just go over to Racing Dude Sports. We'll have you covered. All right, we're gonna do 2 races. Then we're getting to the fantasy draft. I mean, if anybody's listening, I think most people are wanting to get to the draft order here. But let's talk 2 races this weekend. We'll kick things off at Gulfstream Park on Saturday. Race 10, the Mr. Prospector Stakes, grade 3 with 100K for 3-year-olds and up. Going 7 furlongs, field of 7 lines up for this one. 5-2 on number 4, Endorsed for Maker. 3-1 on Wind of Change, Saffy Joseph. 2-1 on Dennis's Moment. That is the favorite, I guess. Dennis. Oh, wow. I mean, wow. I didn't even, I saw his name. I didn't even look at, I'm like that. Hey, you know what? Dale Romans, Dennis Moment at 2-1 might be the ultimate. If you take that horse at 2-1, just call over Halterman and let him come over and just punch you in the face, because that is what it will feel like betting that horse at 2-1. Are you kidding me? All right. I hope you picked Dennis's Moment.
No, I didn't. I told Magic on the preview. I said, hey, Dennis's Moment very well could win this race because it is dog shit. But if you bet him at 2-1, it probably means you just escaped the loony bin, because that is a crazy price. Listen, though, you know what? Everybody that I've seen the previews this race, which is myself and Magic Mike, and I think Dr. Tang was on the chat going crazy about it too. They've all been like, Dennis's Moment, no way, you can't play him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not the favorite, because I think everybody's going to look at that and go, holy hell, no way. Now, listen, I went with number 2, Wind of Change on top. I'm not excited about anybody in this race. This is not a good race, and usually it is a lot better than this. I just think Wind of Change gets out in front, and it's going to be tough to run down. Sappy Joseph, he's winning races like he normally does down here at Gulfstream, where it's kind of a rodeo cowboy show, and I don't think there's a lot of rules to Sass Navarro in service. But anyway, Wind of Change, I think gets to the front and going to be hard to catch. And what will make him hard to catch is I think he's loose on the lead, and I don't know what's behind him.
Jared Clint says, heard it from a big sloppy looking some bitch on the backside. Dennis is going to run off the screen. I wonder who that would have been that told you that. Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah, dude, I kind of went with you on this as well. I like Endorsed a little bit underneath. I always like that horse, but Wind of Change, man. I just think this horse, I just think this is the horse that's going to go gate to wire. I mean, there's no way. Zayas is on board. These two team up obviously all the time. Zayas and Safi, got beat last time out. That's a really big thing too. The horse has ran on this track. Obviously they've changed the track to a synthetic surface at Gulfstream Park, so the horse has that experience there. And so the horse ran on that track. He got beat by a horse named King of Dreams, who came back to win. I think this horse is just going to go out front. I mean, the horse has put up back-to-back bullet works. This horse, you got to remember too, hadn't ran since end of August. Came back a tad bit of a layoff, not a long layoff, but a little bit of a layoff. The horse, is getting back at that race under his belt. Got to work a couple workouts, really strong works. I think this horse. This is going to go. I mean, I don't see a lot of really fast, really speed in this race, and he kind of feels like the one. So I'm with you, man. Number 2, I don't love it either. This race is kind of dog shit. Number 2, Wind of Change.
Real quick, Mark says he likes Endorsed. Mark, I had Endorsed written down on the first go through, and then I looked, and it's like he's lost 14 straight times. And it's not been all Grade 1 races. He's been in spots where he could win. I don't hate the pick, obviously, because I had him wrote down, but I just couldn't go with one that had lost 14 straight. That's why I went elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, I've always really liked Endorsed, and the horse ran. He's ran since he's moved over with Maker. He's ran a few stakes. Of course, he ran the Phoenix, got smoked there. Of course, Aloha West, though, who was in that race. Special reserve as well. Another stakes, got second. I mean, the horse hasn't been running terrible, and the buyers definitely match up with, what it takes. So to me, if you're playing another one, I mean, Endorsed is the other one for me, because if the pace does melt down, it kind of feels like, I mean, unless you really just super trash by the end of Saturday and you want to bet Dennis Moment, I think it seems like I have a better feeling of Endorsed for sure. But I just think I like the gate to wire option. But then if he can't get that, if it falters, at least you got the other one. So
yeah, Mark says he's due.
Well, that's the one thing about it, right?
Yeah, and even bigger. This is a bad field, really bad.
But honestly, everyone knows I have a couple of unwritten rules. Well, I might as well write them down at this point. But you can't play McPeak. You can't play McPeak at a short price, and you just don't play Del Romans, period. And especially when he's and then there's a sub A, B, C that when he's the favorite, and then by the way, when it's fucking Dennis's moment, I mean, just forget about it. All right, let's go to the next race here, race 9. Let's go to race 9, Los Alamitos Futurity, Grade 2, we're $300K for 2-year-olds going 1 and 1/16 miles. A lot of these horses stretching out here for the first time. It is a Kentucky Derby prep race. It's funny. Kentucky Derby prep race, 10-4-2-1. So 5 horses entered. 4 of them will get points or not, because Baffert has 2 in the field. 2 in the field. Messier, who's your 1-2 favorite. So likely the 10 is going to get nixed from this horse, right? And then Barossa, the horse that kind of was like, what the hell is he doing in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile? And he showed that's why we have a right to think that. 5-1. 9-2 on Durante for Doug O'Neill. Doug O'Neill's also got the 5, Slow Down Andy, and then the non-Doug O'Neill Baffert horse, number 1 Olympic Legend at 15-1. So Halterman, got to think you're taking Baffert, right? I mean, let's not be stupid. I mean, Bob Baffert's won this race. Well, I think is going for 8 now in a row. If he wins on Saturday, this will be his 8th Los Alpha Charity in a row, and I don't even know total. I mean, it's got to be like 15 or something close. So, what do you think of this field? Spielberg won it last year. 1,000 Words won it the year before. Probably. I mean, so this is a race. McKenzie, Mastery, More Spirit, Dortmund. This is the race that if they win this race, they are on to big and better things on the Kentucky Derby Trail. So, how are you tackling this one?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go Baffert. I mean, I think Messier looks awfully good. I think that's the one to play here, 1-2, so no surprise there. But I mean, he looks awfully good. I think Barrosa is a horse also that, if you handicap this, it's like, well, that horse is probably going to finish second or could pull the upset. I mean, so if you went with one that's not Messier, it'd probably be the other Baffert. Durante, you could say, well, that horse looked pretty good last time out, but 2 back was beaten by that Baffert horse, Barossa. So I think he's got him over a barrel here. And one thing before I kick it to you, everybody says, if Baffert goes away, California racing is in big trouble, right? How much worse can it get than this? This is what all their 2-year-old stakes races look like. So can it really get a lot worse than what we're seeing here? I think they could find 5 horses, if Baffert wasn't there. I think they could scrounge up a couple more.
It remind me, is it if they win, like if Messier wins, does the 10 go to the second place horse, or is it not? It just goes away, right? So it's only right. So these points are going to get, like the total points are going to continue to get lower and lower, I feel like, right? Because he's going to win races. So very likely that there's only 3 points that are given out in this race, which is insane. That, the 2 and the 1 in the first, third, and fourth. So yeah, because Messier and Barossa should very much finish 1-2, you would think. I like the way Messier's ran. I mean, how could you not? The last 2, Pratt back aboard. I mean, this horse that's the thing. Like, this horse looks the part, and I'm going to guess if he wins, like I think he's going to, he's going to be a very interesting, a very low pick in the draft coming up in a few weeks. Like, because this is, like I say, I mean, you look at the horses that have won this race, and we know what's next where these horses win the Futurity, and this is obviously the looks of a horse. Kind of has the right connections and breeding, big purchase price, Bob Baffert, Pratt, you get really everything there. The horse is stretching out for the first time, but blinkers back on. Horse ran with the first 2 starts with blinkers, took him off to the last start in the Bob Hope. Tells you this horse is going to be very, very forwardly placed here. Wouldn't be shocked if the horse tries just to go gate to wire with Pratt. It wouldn't be shocking at all. So I'm with you. I mean, I we'll talk about it here in a second with the draft, but just real quickly, I want to know, how are you, like you individually, like forget about the site, forget about the fantasy league, all that shit. Like, how are you kind of your mind? How are you processing these Baffert horses this year until we know something more, if not what we know now? How are you like when Messier wins? Are you like, yeah, he should win. Like, he's a legit Derby horse, but he can't get to the Derby because his trainer's not allowed to. I mean, how are you kind of handling that in terms of you yourself?
I'm operating under the assumption that he'll sue and he'll get they'll have to retroactively give these horses points and he'll be at the Derby. That's just because, I just think anymore, that's what we're trained to assume. Oh, he'll get one, he'll get a way to get there. So that's what I'm looking at it right now. I'm not even like believing that it's a reality that he's not going to be there.
I mean, I think that's one way or another. You got to feel like it's going to happen, right? That he's going to have a horse that at the very least that Messier, the horse, will be running. Whether it be, I mean, probably most likely it will be Baffert still. But even if it's not, like, you got to think they'll find a way, because these guys are going to want to, if Messier is good, the goods, they're going to want to get him in, right?
Yep.
Some way.
Yep.
So they'll find a way. Even if that means, Magic's a trainer on the forum or something, but otherwise, for the public eye. But no, you and I are both on number 3, Messier for Bob Baffert. So someone earlier gave me shit about the 3-2-1. I've done it because I always have edited, so I edit the pod after the fact, and I just look for those cues to take it out. Like that's like you gotta, because it's hard to, if you just go straight from one thing to another, it's hard to cut and piece things together for the final show. So it's just, for 300 and some odd episodes, but it's like, though I look back, I'm like, I really don't have to say that. But it's like every time I do. But all right, let's do this. Tell your friends. Let's go. Get your people on here. It's going to be the draft order. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. The time has come, Halterman. The 2022 Racing Dudes Triple Crown Fantasy League is about here. It's about to begin. We are just weeks away from the first points race for the league. And of course, as your defending champion, let me introduce our very astute dictator, Mr. Aaron Halterman, who will be conducting, of course, the league as he does every year. And tonight, we are here to give you the draw. That means, you would think it makes sense to do the draft, the reverse order of the last. No, not in this league. We just redraft redraw every single year for the draft order. Kind of makes things fun. We go ahead and pencil in John and Ryan for the 1 spot, because 1 or 2, we know they're going to get that. So Halterman, this is your show, your segment. Take it away.
Well, listen, before I do, my computer is being taken over by another member of this. Hold on. Wait.
Well. The Racing Dudes Triple Crown Fantasy League Draft is just about here. Before you guys waste any more of the fans' time, your boy Magic here, he's got to say a few words. You see, I'm a man of the people, the voice of the true believers, the co-commander-in-chief of the Magic Mike Army, and I'm here to talk about the 9 teams who think they got a shot in hell of beating the Magic Mike Show team this year. I gotta tell you, y'all are on the list. Let's start with Evil Stevel and Austin. If there was an award for the most improved team, it would go to you guys. I mean, the growth that you showed last year compared to your first year in the league, you were still really, really, really bad last year, but at least you were better. You threw a fistful of darts at the wall, hoping to hit a bunch of Bafferts, wanting one to connect. I guess it did, because you're kind of like the Detroit Lions. You do just enough to be not dead last every single year. You take turns alternating. So I guess what I want to say is cheers to another 2-win season this year, fellas. All right, next here on the list. Oh, it's the team everybody's always so scared of. Oh, it's John and Ryan. Oh, John White, legendary handicapper, legendary fantasy league player. Hey, John, California Chrome called. He said you can go ahead and retire that hat now, buddy. And Ryan, don't even get me started on this fool. Here's how much Aaron hates me. I've had to share a room with Ryan. Not once, but twice on Racing Dudes trips. I've had to share a room with him because his breath, it stinks from all the ass kissing he does to Aaron. How else do you explain how this team always gets a perfect draft spot, always wins the shakes at the claiming window? I hate it. Don't ever make me spend another time with him in the... All right, next here, we got Wise Dan and Michael Myers. Hey, guys, congratulations on falling ass backwards into drafting the 2-year-old champion colt, the Southwest winner, the Bluegrass winner, hell, the goddamn Belmont Stakes winner. And not only did you not want that horse, you somehow almost finished dead last this year with him on your team. Michael, buddy, you're a Notre Dame fan. Play like a champion today. It's not a great motto if you don't ever actually do it. Real dynasty. Vinny. Hey, Vinny, how about you keep me in mind next time you feel like throwing away a pot of gold, buddy? Mike and I, we tried shaking things up last year. Boring-ass draft process. We said, you know what? We'll inject some actual life, some energy into the whole process. Vinny, we chose you as the one to hand the keys to the vault. We gave you the most lopsided trade since the Broncos got Elway. And what did you do with it? You drafted a horse so slow, all the Diodoro juice in the world couldn't make him a winner for you. First you have Hip 40, whatever the hell his name was. Then you've got Keep Me in Mind. I cannot wait to see what you do in this year's draft. Geist Paddle. Geist Paddle. Talk about making an impact as a rookie in your very first draft. You guys remember what he did? You remember what you did, buddy? Your grand brilliant plan to take the league by storm as a rookie? Yeah, I don't know what's worse, that you drafted a turf sprinter who didn't win a race until after the league ended, or that you drafted a Japanese horse whose only start after you drafted him seems to have been in the Alpo Derby. I mean, you were so bad last year as a rookie, you made your own teammate Brandon quit horse racing completely. You know what you are? You're the Bob Baffert to Saratoga Slim, buddy. So let me give you some advice, guys. As a veteran of this league, if you're going to put as much time and energy into the fantasy league draft as Jared does with his beard, the least you could do is draft dirt American horses, buddy. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Speaking of rookies, I want to take a moment here. I want to welcome Kelby Von Hemel to the league. Kelby, welcome. Or, well, I guess I should ask Aaron. Aaron, can you please tell Kelby that I said welcome to the league? Because as I understand, they still haven't hooked up internet to his cornfield. So if you can let him know I said thank you. And oh, by the way, tell him I said best of luck, too, because all you got to do is just not be a fan team in this league, and you're actually not going to have a terrible draft. So, good luck, welcome. Oh, yeah, free beers. Polly. I feel bad for you, man. You should have won last year. Hell, you drafted the Kentucky Derby winner in the 4th round, even though, well, you didn't exactly say his name correctly in the draft. I believe it rhymed something with Schmagina. But please, just do us all a favor. Practice your draftees' names before you come on screen next time. Oh, congratulations on becoming a grandpa. There's no joke there. I really mean it. Congrats. I think you're going to do great. And speaking of greatness, or lack thereof, Jared, congratulations, buddy, on your 2nd straight BS title in this league. You managed to make this one reek even worse than the last one you had. You somehow gave even less of a shit at the fantasy draft than Geist Paddle. You made Aaron draft a filly onto your team. If you were a horse, Mike Somich would call you a paper tiger. I'm just going to call you confused. Because, buddy, this ain't Tinder. You ain't getting lucky again. Aaron. Last on my list. You call yourself the dictator, but I gotta be honest, buddy, that word just ends up making me hungry for tots. So if it's okay with you, I'm gonna shorten it up a little bit. Call you Dick. See, here's the thing, Dick. I am sick and tired the way you have been running this fantasy league. You play favorites. You damn sure play against other teams. From day one when I entered this league, you have been out to get me. You remember the rap battle? Go back now, listen with fresh ears. There ain't no goddamn way Jared was better that day than I was. But you just had to play favorites with your little co-host, your little business partner. You gave him the win in the rap battle. And what did he get for the prize? Justify. What does Justify do? Wins the 2018 Triple Crown. But wait! Turns out the CHRB covered up yet another Bob Baffert drug positive, and if they'd followed their own rules, well, Justify, he would have been disqualified from the San Diego Derby. Then he doesn't go to the Kentucky Derby. Now does not win that race. He doesn't win the Triple Crown. Do you know, Aaron, who would have won the Kentucky Derby if Justify wasn't in that race? That would have been Good Magic. And who do you think drafted Good Magic in the first round of the draft? Yeah, that's right. It was me, buddy. But you already knew that. You were already out to get me. You knew what you were doing. But you know what? It's okay. All that information, it came out after the league ended. The year was over. Okay. And you, buddy, Dick, you set a precedent. And I was fine with it. But then you know what happened? 3 years later, Bob Baffert wins the Kentucky Derby, gets another drug positive. And you, Dick, you announced it because of this. My buddy, my pal, Paulie Free Beers and Walnuts, Hot Wings, whose fantasy team owns Medina Spirit. Well, you docked him the winning points for that race. You redistributed it to the 4 horses that finished behind him, which included Hot Rod Charlie, owned by your little business partner, your little co-host, Jared Welch. Not only does Paulie Free Beers and Walnuts not win the fantasy league, but who does? Oh, wait. It's Jared. So here's the thing, Dick. I'm sending you a warning. And I'm sending it to you and all your candy-ass little sycophants, and hopefully one of them is smart enough to tell you what that word means. Magic and Mike and the rest of the league that you pissed off with your favoritism, we're coming for you. We ain't holding back. Magic out.
There you have it, Jared. What do you think?
I don't know what I just watched, to be honest with you. I mean, I will say my face hurts from laughing the entire time. I mean, I was like, what's happening? I mean, I can't. I don't know. I don't have a lot of words for that. That was something. I just if you're watching this, if you're listening to this show after the fact, I encourage you to go watch this on YouTube just so you can watch what that was. Because this guy, you talk about being invested in something, they're never invested in their own fantasy team. They don't do worth a shit every year, but at least he was invested in that.
We certainly have a heel in the league this year. We have a heel. We have a bad guy. It is Magic. Yeah, he basically just told us all how it's going to be, and let's see if he's able to back it up. That's the key, right? They didn't last year.
I'd like to say this to our friend Magic. I believe the first team in league history to win the fantasy league and never made one claim all year. This guy right here. So maybe I didn't show up. Who cares? You showed up, and I don't even know who did they. I don't know who they drafted the first round. Doesn't matter. I can't wait. I love the fact that he is the bad guy. I love it because I already don't like Magic, so it works out perfect.
Is Magic the new Ricky? Have you replaced Magic or Ricky with Magic?
I just had to replace. I had to replace Ricky with somebody. So yeah.
All right.
Let's do this. So tell the people.
Let's get to drawing.
Okay.
Let's get to drawing. All right. So we're gonna draw the 10 names right now. So here we go. Here's what we're gonna do. I've got each team randomly numbered. Okay. So you are going to say a number, and I will pick that team's name up with that number. So like there's Geist Battle 7 or Geist Battle 7. So that's what I'll do. And then listen, look at this. Watch this. I've got a random number generator that will be the position. So I'll put that up now. Hold on. Let's get this out of here. Hold on here. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So you say the number, then I will hit this generator button here, and it will give us their draft position. All right.
Okay. I have to say, I have zero. Like, I never draft. Like every year, my draft is like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there every time. So I have no nerves. I do great every year. I either win the Kentucky Derby or I win the fantasy league, or I do both. So just whatever. Like, just give me the number. I don't care. I have zero pressure. I love this position. All right, let me give you. I'll kick that. Are you ready for my number?
Yep.
All right, let's start this thing. I'll go with number 2.
Okay, number 2 is a team of Dan and Michael Myers. Dan and Michael Myers. Hey. They are number 2.
Michael, you just showed up. You just got your baby done crying, so you showed up to see you get draft position.
All right, I hit the generate, and it is draft position 10. All right, so Dan and Michael
I did get 10.
Will draft last, so they will be number 10. Okay, give me another number, please, Jared.
That's great. All right, let's do number 7.
7 is the Geist Battle. He will be number 7. I'll hit the random
this year,
generate button. 6. He will draft in number 6.
Okay.
Pretty good spot there. All right. Next number, please. Not 2, not 7.
Let's do number 6.
Number 6. Real Dynasty, now composed of just Vinny. He is number 6. Hit the button. 9. Oh, Vinny.
I'm liking how this is shaping up right now for us.
You're 3 for 3. You're doing very, very well. Now give me another number. Not 2, not 6, not 7.
9.
9. Oh, you're going to be very happy. You have drawn yourself number 9.
I don't like it that all these numbers have been really bad, though. So all right, let's see what I got.
Here we go. Hit the generator. 2.
Oh, boom. All right. That's the best draft order of my life.
So Jared will draft in the 2nd spot. Okay. Another number, please, sir.
I love being 2 because I can the pressure's off. take whoever the person number one. They'll take whoever. I'll take the next number one horse. All right. What did I just tell you?
You
7?
have picked 2, 6, 7, and 9.
Okay, 9. How about we do 1?
Number 1. It's the Magic Mike Show. Number 1 in our minds and in our hearts.
Give
All
me.
right. Generate. Oh, 2. We've already drawn that. We have to generate again. 2. We have to generate again.
It's like
9. Nope. We've already had that. 5.
5.
There they go. Magic Mike, number 5.
I think he said he wanted the middle of the pack there, so he got.
Okay. We have drawn half the field. Should we take a commercial break like they do on the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, we should talk about this for a while. So, real quickly, give the orders of what you have so far.
All right. So far, we've drawn 5. The number 1 slot still open. Number 2, Jared. Number 3 still open. Number 4 still open. Number 5, Magic Mike. Number 6, Geist Paddle. 7 is open. 8 is open. 9, Vinny, and 10, Dan and Michael.
So we still got a few pretty shitty positions on the backside there. And then, of course, the 1 is still sitting there. And unlike the Kentucky Derby, you want the 1.
Yes.
So here we go. We are back from commercial break. And I'm going to give you number, it's going to be 5.
Number 5 is Austin and Evil Stevel. There they are. They're number 5. Lost the league in their first year, finished 9th last year. We'll generate their number now. Number 8. Ooh. And that one is not taken, so they will draft 8th. Okay.
I like that we're 6 through 6 teams, and you and John Ryan are still out there. So
yes, so that's important. The 4 teams left, myself, John and Ryan, Paul Free Beers Withrow, and our new team, Kelby Von Hemel. They're all still open. Slots 1, 3, 4, and 7. So really only one bad slot left.
Actually, I'm sure Kelby will get the 1 because in our fantasy football league, when we added him, he got a great draft position and had a great year.
Yep.
All right. I'll give you number 10.
Number 10 is our newest player, Kelby Von Hemel. So we'll see if Jared was right. Let's see if he gets number 1. Here we go. Generate. Number 6, already taken. We'll go again. Number 7. Oh, Kelby, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Kelby. I tried for you. I tried to will you in there. Halterman, 1 spot. This is becoming a little bit of an issue now because 2 teams I really don't like, Halterman and John and Ryan, are sitting there with the 1, and then the last thing Paul needs for his ego is to get the 1 spot as well. So this is really not a great spot for anybody. All right.
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3. Myself. I am number 3. All right.
What numbers are we looking for? 1,
3, or 4.
1, 3, or 4. So nothing. No matter what, you guys all have pretty good draft spots. So
yeah. All right. Here we go. Generate 6. Nope. 4.
There. Right. Sorry.
Number 4. Well, that's all right. This year, I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference between 1 and 10, really.
No. Okay.
All right.
Speaking of, I'll just make it easy. Number 4. I haven't given you 4.
Number 4 will be John and Ryan. Now, John and Ryan always get the number 1, seemingly every year. Can they do it again?
Can it happen again?
1 or 3. Here we go.
Whatever number comes up first, they get. Oh.
4, 9.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, 2. No. 5.
Give
1.
Oh!
No matter what I do, they get it every year.
You're gonna have to start rigging the system.
I draw it out of the hat, they get number 1. I do this, they get number 1.
They'll win every shake too. It's insane. I don't know what they have done in the I don't know. Well, all right. So Paul has the 3.
Yeah, so Paul gets the 3. All right, so I'll read it off here. John and Ryan will have the number 1 pick in the draft. Jared will have number 2. Paul 3. Myself will be 4. Magic Mike 5. Geist Battle 6. KVH 7. Austin and Evil 8. Vinny 9. Dan and Michael 10.
I can't.
There you go.
I can't even. All right. Well, all right. This ought to be a fun text whenever you text John. I mean, is Ryan watching?
I don't think so because I have not got a text yet, but I'll send them a message now.
John, I mean, you don't even show up for nothing. You doesn't do anything. He just like telling me know what spot I got, and every time you text him, it's good news. It's just insane. And now, because I'm gonna. Well, the good news is I know, like, whatever Baffert horse he picks on the first spot, I know, like. I mean, that's the thing. You know, whenever they're in the number 1, they're drafting the best horse.
Yeah. Well, last year they drafted Life Was Good, who I have little doubt would have won them the league if he would have stayed healthy. So, unbelievable.
All right. Well, and by the way, draft is in 2 weeks, right? A little less than 2 weeks on a Wednesday, the 22nd.
Is that their right? Yeah, that's right.
Not sure. Yeah, it's the 22nd. It's the week of the Christmas. There, the 22nd. Is it 22nd or 21st? I'm sorry. It's the 21st. Tuesday.
It's that Wednesday, whatever that is, right?
Is it a Wednesday? I thought it was a Tuesday.
Oh, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. That's right.
It's the 21st.
Now
one of us will show up. I hope for the draft. But no, I believe it's on Tuesday, the 21st. We'll do a special podcast just for the draft.
Yeah. It's Tuesday, December 21st at 7 p.m. Central Time. So that'll be 8 Eastern, 7 Central.
And it's always quite the shit show with everyone shows up for that. Everyone's tuning in, chimes in. John, of course, has his picks. Oh my gosh.
John White says, of course, we expected nothing less. It's a tradition as much as mint juleps and singing of Old Kentucky Home. That's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
If I didn't know better, because I love John so much, I would say he made the same deal that Bob Baffert made with whoever. You know, it's like they made a deal to get the number 1 spot. Him and Baffert working together. You know, but he gets all the Baffert horses, wins the league. No, but they can't seem to win the league though. You know, that's the thing.
They did win one. They've won it once. They have won it once.
They did, but it's not. You know, for getting the 1 spot every year, they can't do it on a consistent basis, and so I really blame the management for that. You're kind of gift wrapping this. You're gift wrapping this for the. Well, you know, the other thing is they'll have about 14 claims by March. So
yes, no question about that. They claim more than anybody.
All right, that's any final thoughts or any final comments on the draft or anything you want to touch on that before we end this thing?
No, I think that's good. Like I said, we'll do it on December 21st. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a good year, a completely wide open year. If you remember last year, Life Was Good and Essential Quality were no-brainer 1 and 2. This year, there really isn't a no-brainer there for that top spot just yet. So we'll see. We've got Alamitos Futurity this weekend. You get the springboard coming up next Friday, and then bam, it's the draft. So we'll see if anybody kind of shows up, emerges, however you want to say it.
Yeah, a couple just real quick thoughts on what we are going to, not my rule, Halterman's rule. I have to go by it, but I kind of agree because we don't have like much of a win no win situation. Baffert horses get points. So even though Derby doesn't, right now not getting points, Baffert horses can be claimed, can be drafted. And we'll get points as usual, as the system we use in our fantasy league, because last year, of course, with the mess with Medina Spirit and having to make that choice whether or not he should be stayed up, and it's just a nightmare. So Baffert, he'll stay. So that I imagine, that kind of makes it simple in terms of who, if we were not including Baffert horses, trying to get the top 50, which is however many horses, we have 50 horses, which is always a really good indicator of the horses you need to watch, right? It's impossible if you didn't have Baffert horses in there. So, all right, we'll see you guys for the draft in a couple weeks. Unbelievable.
I know. John is excited.
Yeah, he's made his night.
Oh man,
I was pumped. The two's the lowest spot I've ever gotten by like 8 spots.
Yeah, you're in a good spot. You're in a really good spot.
I have no idea how I'm going to take, but
I know I got to get to work on it.
Like where's my essential quality? You know what I mean? Like where's my number 2 right now? Seriously.
No shit.
I'll end up picking like freaking, I don't know, Wit or something in the second spot. All right.
It's going to be tough.
Let's wrap this puppy up. It's all the time we have. Check us out at racingdudes.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our products page. Click the Get Racing Dudes Premium button on the menu at racingdudes.com to learn more. Remember that racingdudes.com is your destination site for all free horse racing picks for all major horse racing tracks, and of course sports as well. The bowl season underway, you want to kick things off. If you're playing horses, go do some sports as well. racingdudes.com/sports. You can check us out on racing_dude on Facebook or on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find all episodes of Blinkers Off on YouTube, of course, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Captivate, all those available even on our website at racingdudes.com. Go check out the Magic Mike show. They did the Gulfstream Park Saturday late pick 4. So you wanted a little more information on that stakes we did. Of course, the rest of that sequence, go check out the Gulfstream Park late pick 4 on the Magic Mike show and all those same podcast platforms. All right, Halterman, this is a wrap for the show. Final thoughts on the weekend of racing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good weekend. I love that Oaklawn is back. That was so much fun last weekend. Just add something to it, because usually you've got Gulfstream, which is pretty good day in and day out, especially on the weekends. But Aqueduct this time of year is it's kind of, they're off the turf. They're done with the turf now. To interject Oaklawn into the scene, it was awesome last weekend. I expect more of the same this weekend.
Dude, funny story. I got to tell you, I was seeing a buddy of mine in Oklahoma last week, and some of that side of the family and extended family and stuff was there, and people I didn't know. And I was talking to a lady, and she's like, hey, and I introduced myself, and I was like, she's like, oh, are you the racing guy? And I'm like, yeah, like I have the site or whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, I know all about you. She's like, I can't wait for this was Friday, mind you. She goes, I can't wait for Oaklawn to start, and they live in Arkansas. They're from Arkansas. I'm like, I can't wait for Oaklawn to start. Like, it's my favorite time of the year. And like, I will be down there. We go to this, go to that. And I said, it's running right now. Like, it literally started today. And she about fell over. I mean, you could tell how much. She's like, what? She's like, you're lying to me. I'm like, no, they're running today. It started. She's like, it's December. Like, I know. I said, I didn't hear about this. I had no idea. Like, thank you in the whole rest of the day. Thank you so much for telling me I gotta go home and make my bets. And like, she's like geared up. I'm like, she's like, it makes total sense why they would do that. I had no idea. So these are loyal fans, people that go to Oaklawn every single year, multiple times a year. They take RVs and they bet, and they're there for racing. And she had no idea that it started a month early. So she is pumped.
That's hilarious. And it's funny because like at Saratoga, the first year they extended the meet and they started it a week early. we were there, and I was talking to a few locals, and they're like, yeah, there's nobody here because it's not like the people that come here, it's just ingrained in them that they're open this time through this time, and it never changes. So it's going to take some time to get people here. And I would say, yeah, I mean, just like that. I mean, your diehards are there at Oaklawn, but those people, it's like, yeah, we go down 3-4 times a year, and we do it in February and March and April. And it's like, what? December? Sure, we would like to go right now. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, the more we talked about it, and of course, you and I have talked about it a lot, like it makes a lot of sense why they would be running right now. So the weather, obviously, I mean, shit, Hot Springs was amazing last weekend. And so, yeah, it makes a lot of sense why they'd be running. So, yeah, it's awesome to have Oaklawn back, and it's a big weekend. It's kind of like we're still in a little bit of a lull, but I think it's a big weekend of racing because you just look at that Futurity and just forget about the Baffert aspect. I mean, there might be a few horses, one in particular, that could be really, really good that you want to pay attention to for the Derby, and especially for us for the draw. So coming up. So, all right, it's a wrap on the show, everybody. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Alterman. Good luck this weekend, guys.